Here we are at the Eminence. This is a very historical place in the history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The Eminence, the word eminence means an overlook or a prominent place. This is a high point of ground in this whole area. It's probably not as high as the temple site of Far West, but this is an overlook of Goose Creek behind me. Goose Creek is where the Missouri militia came in and camped at the surrender of Far West. This is where three generals, these were two-star generals, they were major generals, General Atchison, General Clark, and General Lucas were all given orders to come here and to enforce the extermination order of Governor Boggs. General Lucas brought about 2,000 troops. General Atchison had 400 troops, and under General Atchison's command was a brigadier general, a one-star general by the name of Alexander Donovan. This is where Joseph Smith was surrendered over to the Missouri militia. They called them the mob, but they were legitimate militia. The Mormons had their own militia. They had a unit in Far West that was led by George Hinkle, Colonel Hinkle. They had a unit in Adirondack that was led and commissioned by Colonel Bright, Lyman White. General Clark was in the senior position to take command of everybody by the governor, but General Lucas had more seniority and was older in rank than General Clark, and so there was friction between the two. Of course, people know of the friction between General Lucas and General Donovan when General Donovan disobeyed his order to shoot Joseph Smith and his companion, Sidney Rigdon. Colonel Hinkle is accused of betraying Joseph. Actually, on the night of the 30th, when the word came from Hans Mill that the people had been attacked and massacred, Joseph came out to the line that was right behind us here. They'd actually torn down cabins. They'd actually built a wall of logs and trees and whatever they could get their hands on to build a barrier so that the cavalry coming up the hill could not go into the city, that they would be stopped behind this barrier or abatis. There's stories that Joseph spread the Missouri troops out so that it appeared that they were in greater number than the Mormon militia, and they have accounts of there being men on white horses that had white clothes and golden bugles in a formation that took a half an hour for them to pass the troops down here by Goose Creek going into the city of Far West. Actually, the plans were to attack the city of Far West on the night of the 30th, but they felt that they were outnumbered. After they got in position, they felt that they were outnumbered because of the angels and the people dressed in white that were spaced between the Mormons. Now, this is an interesting account of this column of white angels on horses and this column of horsemen, and also those that are in the barricades surrounding the city. This barricade was a mile across from east to west and went down maybe partly on the north side and the south side. It's best to read about the circumstances that Colonel Hinkle surrendered Joseph. Joseph was very insistent that they could hold their own, and was very much, as he patrolled the battle front here, telling the men to be brave and to defend their places, and the angels would help them. But then after he heard the news of the massacre at Hansville, he changed his attitude to General Lucas to try to soften the surrender of the people at Far West. Right here is where they formed a circle, and General Doniphan's camp was right down off of here. He was camped a couple hundred yards from this breastwork, and between General Lucas troops and the Mormon battle works here. There were 4 conditions that were reiterated to Joseph as terms of the surrender. Number 1, that the leaders of the church would be surrendered for trial and possible execution. Number 2, that they would surrender all their arms and weapons. Number 3, that they would sign over all their land patents and all their deeds to their properties. Some people have argued that this was one of the main reasons the Mormons were run out of Caldwell County and Adamond, is to get claim to their lands. There was a lot of this land that had improvements. The prairies had been plowed for their gardens, and it was a land grab is what it amounted to. And the 4th condition was that they had to leave the state. These were all complied with. General Clark, when he got here, he softened these conditions a little bit and allowed them a couple months to leave the state.